Okay, so I was thinking, I always give like the biblical. I try to give every point of view I can on certain situations, especially those that affect me or somebody, anybody, differently, similar, worse, whatever. Um, when I started really looking into my history and my genealogy, I had no choice but to read American history since I'm American and notice the differences between my life now and what it would be back then. Um, Naturally, I'm going to mention it. I noticed a certain group of people getting offended when I was mentioning my own history, as if I was calling them out for something they didn't do because they weren't alive back then. And it was annoying. So I started calling them out for the groups or the labels that fit white. Happened to be the label. Spanish, white, European, whatever. I do the same with the Irish slaves and um, every group of people that is here in America. It just so happens that the major struggles in history with minorities in America all happen to be the cause of the same group. Um, that's it. There's really nothing there. And to be called a racist for that, it lets me know that people are ignorant because they will go out of their way to call me an institution or a society or a group, and I don't think I'm that fat. Um, a bigot, I can understand. Some of the things I say could make me look like a bigot towards black women, black men, women, men, children, um, white men, women, atheists, theists, Muslim, Christian, uh, pretty much everybody. But the one thing that everybody has in common is the one huge deal that happened to our ancestors or gives us our funny old racist jokes and shit to piss other people off, even if we aren't racist or anything. The names all come from the same group, the all American white male. I cannot agree more with white men who tell me, you know, it's the past. It should be, we should all treat each other equal. We are all humans. But unfortunately, that's not how it goes because we're all still in those same bigoted corners when it comes to the rape victim. Well, what was she wearing? What was she dressing? How was she acting? Where was she at? Why was she with guys? What about this? Well, that also happens to be an American thing. Not strictly American, of course, it's worldwide. It's a male thing, but American women, white men had something to do with that. Why they would go out of their way to make sure that freed slaves get rights to vote before their own wives, you can only ask them. I don't know. Native Americans, they wanted to whiten them up. They wanted to whiten out everybody. So they started mating with everybody, and we love light skin, every single one of us. The Asians, the Chinese, the same ones here. The Africans that were here, Native Americans, don't even. So many white people, just as many white people as black people tell me they're Native American. Yeah, most of us are. But You're white. And this Hispanic thing, this whole argument with Hispanic, European, you're white. Creole, French, you're white. Why is it such a freaking huge deal? Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of white people who will claim, just like black people, the Native American part, for reasons. Black people are ashamed of their blackness, not because of blackness, but because of the treatment of blackness worldwide. White people, they don't want to associate with white people because they're pretty fucking evil if you do your research. That we can say, yeah, this is other times, this is old times, this is back in the day, blah, 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 blah. But no. People are civilized enough to write books and philosophy, just schools, make schools, buildings, and whole cities and social standards and everything. You really think that they didn't know what they were doing was fucked up? You give yourself too much credit whenever it comes to thinking, if that's the case, because we've all had pets for, I don't know, so long. Slaves, it's kind of one of those things, you know? It's totally different here in America. You can say slaves were everywhere. Yeah, it was a temporary thing. And you could marry your way up into royalty. Here, nothing. You're material objects just to throw over, out with old goods, used goods, trash. Nothing. That's some sick shit. Even if we were fucking gorillas, if we looked just like gorillas, god damn. I'm sure the fucking zoos are better than that. That's bullshit. I haven't seen a bunch of white people fucking killing a shitload of freaking baboons together. Unless it's a science freaking, like a scientific reason, not just because, for shits and giggles. That's some evil ass shit. So when people call me a racist, not only are you an idiot for assuming that racist can just be a person that doesn't like certain groups or says ugly things towards groups. I've never once said I hated white people. I've never once said I didn't like white people. I don't trust white people. Not as far as I can own them. I don't think that's anything to say that's fucked up. I don't really trust anybody. But knowing the history of white people in America, in Germany, other places, Europe, Africa, not really someone you want to fucking invite over for tea. Do I hate or look down on them or wish harm on white people? No. Genetically speaking, you know, probably more white than I am black. That doesn't change my feelings towards myself or any of my blackish friends who could pass for white, or my black friends who have white in them and you can't tell. Who gives a shit? That's not the point. My point is these people who are sick, disgusting, twisted children and grandchildren of these people who were lynching us just a few decades ago, who have the heart to speak up about their bruised freaking ego on the subject that they don't want to talk about because it makes them uncomfortable. When there's so much evidence that I'm here giving you to show not only is it not the past, but it's still very, very much so affecting us when it comes to black people, brown people, red people, yellow people in America, when it comes to our family income total, when it comes to our house property value, when it comes to our school districts for our children. It is very, very much so a problem. And if you honestly think that the way I say it and bruising your little white ego is enough to try to shut me up from speaking on the issue to try to figure out a way to help it, you're a racist because you're helping the whole situation. And the thing that upsets a lot of the white people is not the fact that I'm just some racist or bigot or ignorant, stupid person. It's the fact that I can walk out and be called a cunt, a whore, a nigger, a spick, a wetback, and just chalk that shit off to just some redneck hick idiot bumpkin, just dummy. And y'all can't, because there's so much evidence that proves anybody who hates you has reason to. And that shit fucking sucks. From the colonial times, when y'all were arguing, fighting, killing each other, trying to make your little Irish runts the slaves, and then actually did and brought them over here. That's when you started. White people have never had unity. Never will. So that to have the nerve for white people to call us racists or talk about black on black crime or all these things, when y'all put us in this situation, kept us in the situation, put us back in the situation, and keep us in the situation, you are why I am very, very much so pro-choice. And I thank you. White men are the most sensitive, insensitive assholes I have ever, ever, ever had the displeasure of crossing paths with. If it wasn't for your gay white men, yes, I would very much so be a bigot